will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days. So
those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
The buzz surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has reached a fever pitch.
Oh my gosh! You won't believe the absolute frenzy that's buzzing around Sean Diddy Combs right now. The entertainment world is literally exploding with rumors that the music mogul might be walking free soon. Like, seriously, no one saw this coming. It's the kind of plot twist that has everyone's jaws on the floor. Social media is absolutely lit with people sharing insider tea, wild theories, and all sorts of speculation about what's really going down behind those closed doors. I mean, can you even wrap your head around this? Diddy, yes, the Diddy, who's been basically entertainment royalty, might actually walk free after everything that's happened. And trust me, we're talking months of absolutely mind-blowing allegations, lawsuit after lawsuit, and an indictment that literally sent his empire crashing down. So grab your popcorn because we're about to spill all the tea about these whispers, these supposed legal loopholes, and honey, the claims that have everyone completely glued to their screens.
We're monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
Get this, word on the street is that Diddy's legal team has pulled some kind of miracle out of their designer hats. They've supposedly found a way to completely tear apart the FBI's case, or at least weaken it enough that our boy might be walking free soon. And here's the juicy part. It all comes down to what his lawyers are calling some seriously shady business during the investigation. You're not going to believe this, but they're talking about this totally controversial raid on his jail cell. But hold up, this wasn't just any old raid. These federal agents allegedly got their hands on some super confidential materials that were supposed to be completely off limits because of attorney-client privilege. Like, hello? If this tea is true, we're talking about a massive oopsie that could totally blow up in the prosecution's face. And honey, it gets even better. Diddy's legal dream team is saying this wasn't just some little whoopsie. They're claiming it was a straight-up calculated move to destroy his defense. But wait for it. They say they've got receipts. The story goes that on day 2 of this whole raid situation, there was this hush-hush meeting with all these big-shot federal officials, including prosecutors from the Southern District of New York. During this meeting, apparently these prosecutors specifically pointed their fingers at Diddy's cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. His legal squad is adamant that this whole operation wasn't about keeping the prison safe like they're claiming. It was totally about digging up dirt to use against him. In their words, this was less about serving justice and more about playing dirty to win. And get this, the drama gets even juicier. Diddy's attorneys are dropping bombshells left and right, claiming these investigators were literally eavesdropping on his private chats with his legal team. Can you even? They're saying this level of snooping isn't just crossing the line, it's totally illegal. If these claims turn out to be true, oh honey, the prosecution's case could crumble faster than last season's designer knockoffs. We're talking about evidence getting tossed out like yesterday's trash and the entire investigation's credibility going up in smoke. For Diddy, this could be the golden ticket he's been praying for in his fight to clear his name.
Called this afternoon at the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
But wait, because this tea is about to get even hotter. There are whispers, and I mean juicy whispers, that Diddy's got this whole secret plan ready to go the moment he gets released. And trust me, it's nothing like what anyone's expecting. Some sources are spilling that he might actually try to pull a disappearing act and flee the country if he gets bail. I know. It sounds absolutely wild. But given what he's facing, can we really say it's impossible? The internet is literally losing it over these escape theories, with fans and haters alike playing guess where Diddy might go. Some are saying he could jet off to some exotic island paradise, or maybe slip away to one of those countries that won't send him back to face the music in the US. Others think he might just vanish into thin air, using his millions and his connections to become a ghost. Now, these are just rumors, darling, but just thinking about it adds such a delicious twist to this already scandalous story. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal squad is working overtime, pulling every trick in the book to get him out. They've filed this dramatic motion claiming the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are so horrific they're basically violating his human rights. And let me tell you about this place. Former inmates and legal experts are calling it hell on earth because it's so overcrowded and understaffed. His lawyers are painting this absolutely horrifying picture, highlighting cases where inmates have gotten seriously hurt or worse because nobody's watching out for them. They're basically saying keeping Diddy there while he waits for trial isn't just unfair. It could literally be dangerous for his life.
And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
But here's where it gets really interesting. His legal team is working overtime to completely make over Diddy's public image. They're out here reminding everyone about his legacy as this incredible music icon, his charitable giving, and how he built this massive empire from nothing. In their version of events, Diddy isn't this monster the media's been painting him as. He's just a human being who's being unfairly targeted. It's totally a calculated move to win over public opinion and maybe soften the blow of all these allegations. But here's the tea: not everyone's buying what they're selling. Critics are clapping back, saying Diddy's legal mess is totally his own doing, and all this finger pointing at the feds is just a desperate attempt to dodge responsibility. Still, even some of his biggest critics are raising their eyebrows at these claims about federal agents breaking the rules. Like, if the government's willing to play dirty to lock someone up, what does that say about our justice system? Seriously.
I came here today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
Let me spill this piping hot tea. This saga is far from over. Even if Diddy manages to walk out those prison doors, he's still facing a mountain of legal drama that would make a reality show look tame. We're talking multiple lawsuits and this upcoming trial that's promising to be one of the most jaw-dropping courtroom showdowns we've seen in forever. Right now, everyone's eyes are glued to whether he'll get released, and OMG, the questions it's raising about what happens next are absolutely wild. Will he walk out just to face an even bigger fight in court? Or will he actually do the unthinkable and vanish into thin air, leaving everyone scrambling? Stay with me, because this story just keeps getting more twisted. And if there's one thing we've learned from this whole mess, it's that nothing about this case follows the script. Could this be the start of the most dramatic comeback in music history? Or are we about to witness an even bigger scandal? Honey, the truth in this case is turning out to be stranger than any Hollywood script could dream up. And in Diddy's world, it's looking even stranger than anyone could have imagined. The drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs is nowhere near done. And this possible prison release, it's just the tip of this scandalous iceberg. He's facing what could be the fight of his life in court, and let me tell you, the allegations, they are shocking. Not just because they're so serious, but because they're completely shattering this glamorous image he's built up over the years. But darlings, let's rewind and spill the full tea on how we got here and what Diddy's doing to fight back. The tea is scorching, and you won't believe how this all unfolded. Everything started crumbling for Diddy back in November 2023, and honey, when it hit hard. Cassie Ventura, yes, his girlfriend of over a decade, dropped a lawsuit that shook the entertainment world to its core. And let me tell you, her claims were absolutely heartbreaking and horrifying. She described this totally toxic relationship where she allegedly endured constant abuse, manipulation, and control. But the most shocking part? These so-called pride events that Diddy supposedly orchestrated, the details were so disturbing they had everyone gasping.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
And the tea gets even hotter. One of the most talked about claims was about what Diddy allegedly did to Kid Cudi's car. Like, can you even? According to Cassie, when Diddy found out Cudi was interested in her, he literally had the man's car destroyed. Talk about sending a message. Even though Diddy denied everything and kept saying he was innocent, that case was settled faster than you could say scandal, literally within 24 hours. And everyone was like, what aren't they telling us? But hold on to your seats because that was just the beginning. What happened next was like watching dominoes fall, but each domino was a new shocking lawsuit. One by one, women started coming forward with stories that would make your jaw drop. A college student from way back in '91 claimed he recorded their encounter without her knowing and shared it around. Another woman filed anonymously with a similar story describing this whole orchestrated nightmare that left her feeling completely helpless.
A woman is accusing Sean Diddy Combs of her when she was 16 years old in 2000.
Then December 2023 hit, and honey, the allegations took an even darker turn. A woman who only went by Jane Doe came forward with claims that would make your blood run cold. She described being manipulated into inappropriate actions when she was underage, being given substances that left her barely able to remember what happened. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, the plot thickens. In February 2024, Rodney Jones Jr., who had worked with Diddy on his latest album, stepped into the spotlight with his own shocking claims. And let me tell you, his story was different but equally disturbing. He described unwanted advances and this whole pressure campaign to do things he wasn't comfortable with. While Diddy's lawyers called it pure fiction, Jones stood his ground, insisting every word was true. This was huge because now it wasn't just women coming forward. The accusations were coming from all directions.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
As these lawsuits mounted, Diddy's defense team...
But brace yourselves, because in May 2024, something absolutely explosive happened. CCTV footage from 2016 leaked, and what it showed had everyone absolutely stunned. The video caught this incident at a Los Angeles hotel between Diddy and Cassie, and let me tell you, it was horrifying. The grainy footage showed Diddy allegedly shoving Cassie to the ground and, I can barely say it, kicking her while she was down. The public was absolutely outraged. Diddy tried to do damage control, saying he was disgusted with himself and it was a low point, but honey, the damage was done. This footage seemed to back up everything Cassie had been saying, and people were not having his excuses. By summer 2024, things went from bad to worse. Crystal McKinney, a former model and actress, came forward with claims about what allegedly happened in a New York City recording studio, and the details were absolutely shocking. Then Dawn Richard, who you might remember from Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money, dropped her own bombshell lawsuit. She painted this horrifying picture of verbal abuse, being worked to exhaustion, and having to deal with unwanted advances. It was like being trapped in a nightmare under Diddy's control.
But like I said, you know, the entertainment industry is very, very, very messed up when it comes to, you know, the bigger you get, the more you had to do to get there. And so if you're not willing to put yourself in that position, you kind of have to put your foot down. And so I didn't.
But September 2024, that's when everything exploded. The grand jury dropped this bombshell indictment that had everyone's jaws on the floor. After months of digging, federal prosecutors laid out their case against the music mogul, and honey, It was shocking. They described this whole elaborate system where Diddy allegedly used his power and money to control and intimidate people around him. We're talking coercion, bribery, and even trying to buy people's silence with cash. When they took him into custody and denied bail, the mighty empire he'd built started crumbling. But Diddy isn't going down without a fight. His legal team is out here painting him as this misunderstood family man and philanthropist who's being targeted by people trying to cash in on his success. And get this, they just filed this $50 million defamation lawsuit against one of the witnesses, Courtney Burgess, and her lawyer. They're claiming these wild stories about alleged recordings involving Diddy and other celebs are completely made up, and it's all part of some scheme to destroy him.
Diddy is now suing. So according to our friends over at Us Magazine, Diddy, who remains in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center while he awaits trial. Us Weekly writes this. It says Sean Diddy Combs has filed a defamation lawsuit against one of his accusers, their attorney, and News Nation.
The stakes literally couldn't be higher right now. If Diddy's found guilty, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. But his legal team is fighting like their lives depend on it. They're questioning everything from the evidence to the motives of his accusers. They're working overtime to change how people see the man who was once hailed as this incredible pioneer in music. Whether he can save his reputation, that's the million-dollar question.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily so, I guess, right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
So here we are, darlings, watching this absolutely wild saga unfold. Could his legal team really pull off this miracle and tear apart the case? Or is this all just desperate moves from a man trying to avoid facing the music? And if he does get out, will he really make a run for it or stay and fight to clear his name? The debate is heating up and everyone's got an opinion. Until we meet again for more updates on this absolutely scandalous story, keep those notifications on because this tea is far from cold. The conversation is just getting started, and trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. Goodbye for now, my loves. For now, my loves. For now.